Some literary devices, they announce themselves with a megaphone. Others, they sneak through the side door, mess with your feelings, leaving you wondering what just happened. I'm Nick. This is Dr. Cranky Pants Reads, and today we're talking about the quiet powerhouses, the author moves that don't just decorate the page, they shape how you read it. You don't need to memorize these terms or even use them in an everyday speech, but when a book leaves you reeling and you're not sure why, these are usually the culprits. Foreshadowing is subtle. It's a whisper from the future. Something shows up early, a line, an image, a weird little detail, and it quietly suggests that something bigger is on the way. Let's take an example from Louis Sachar's Holes. Early in the book, someone tells Stanley, "Holes have a destiny." And it sounds like a weird joke, but by the end, you realize the entire story hinges on that line. This is the author planting narrative seeds. The reader doesn't know it yet, but those seeds are going to bloom later. Foreshadowing builds suspense, makes rereading satisfying, and rewards readers who notice patterns. It builds trust. The story is telling you, pay attention. Everything here means something, even if you don't see it yet. So foreshadowing plays with time, right? But euphemism plays with language. It's soft when things are hard. It wraps sharp truths in fuzzy packaging. Let's go back to Bridge to Terabithia. He's gone to a better place. That's how Leslie talks about death. And the author here isn't dodging the topic. They're showing how people protect themselves. Euphemism becomes a kind of emotional filter, a way of saying the unsayable. Euphemism tells us just as much about the speaker as it does about the moment. It says, "This hurts, but I'm not ready to say it out loud." And that tells us a lot. Of course, not everything is subtle. Sometimes the volume is just all the way up. Enter hyperbole. Big feelings, bigger statements, truth distorted for dramatic effect. And honestly, sometimes that's the only way to get the point across. Let's look at Matilda by Roald Dahl. Miss Trunchbull is described as having muscles like lumps of iron. She's not just strong, she's mythically, cartoonishly strong. She's a literal nightmare in gym shorts. So what's the move? Here, the author is really amplifying everything for effect. Hyperbole takes what a character feels and blows it up to billboard size. Because emotions feel exaggerated, hyperbole works particularly well, particularly in middle grade. Fear, excitement, injustice, they all feel huge. And hyperbole doesn't just show the feeling, it honors it. Now that we've yelled a bit, let's slow it down. Let's talk about comparison, the kind that slips underneath your skin. Because metaphors and similes, these are how authors turn abstract feelings into something you can hold in your hands. So let's take an example from Inside Out and Back Again. In this book, there's a quote, "The world is a drum, tight and hard." That right there, it's a metaphor. It doesn't tell us she's anxious. It shows us. You can feel that tension in your chest. The author compresses an emotion into something physical. Similes, on the other hand, will give you a little difference, using like or as a bit of a cushion. Metaphors, they just drop you right in. These work because being sad is boring, but a cracked plate, or a wilting flower, or a tight drum, that feels like something. It lets the reader do the work and feel it all the more deeply. Now, these devices aren't just stylistic flourishes. They're the craft underneath the story. They let authors shape emotion, guide your expectations, and hit you where it counts without ever raising their voice. So the next time you see a line in a book that makes you pause, ask yourself, what's going on here? What's the move? Drop your favorite sneak attack literary moments in the comments. You know the one, the sentence that hit harder than it had any right to. Next up, we're wrapping up this series with a batch of devices. See you in the next one.